Hey guys, happy Friday. It's good to be here.
Woo!
Yeah. You guys enjoying ETHWarsaw?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Okay, let's wait a moment for the slides to come up. If you don't know me, my name is Marek Olszewski. I'm one of the co-founders of Self Protocol, also one of the co-founders of Celo. If you're new to Self, you can learn more certainly after this talk by going to self.xyz. And then also you can follow us at Self Protocol. And then if you like my talk, you can find me at Marek _ on Twitter. Okay, so Self Protocol is a new ZK identity protocol that I'm going to walk through. But I want to make this fun for you guys. So I threw in a little game. Just going to wake this thing up. Perfect. The game is called Guess the Country. And so throughout my slides, I'm going to have a few country shapes thrown in, sprinkled at random locations. And your job is to yell out, well, first of all, recognize the country and then yell out the country name. You think you guys can do that? Okay, I'm going to try to warm you guys up. That is interesting. That's right. I suspect I need internet. Give me 1 second.
$accelerate.
It's okay. I'll just use my hotspot. Okay, we're going to just imagine that none of this happened. Okay, live debugging here. Fingers crossed. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you think it'll work this time?
Yeah.
Okay, once again, to warm you guys up, I'm going to give you an easy one.
Poland!
Yes, 1 point over here.
Australia.
I think someone over here was first. France, 2 points over here. And the reason I'm keeping count of points is, I wanted to raise the stakes a little bit for you guys. So I am going to be giving out 100 zloty of USDT to the person who gets the most number of countries right. I might need a volunteer to help me keep track of the points, or I'm going to try my best. And you guys can also use the honor system. And we're going to pay it out in MiniPay. So MiniPay is a stablecoin only wallet by the browser company Opera. You guys, anybody heard of Opera? Yeah, lots of hands. They have a really, really nice stablecoin wallet, and they added this cash link feature where you can claim cash just by sending a URL. And to show you that I'm trustworthy, I'm going to give 4 of you 20 zloty right now. We'll see who can scan this the fastest. Why does it not look safe? That's right. That I'm giving out to people in the talk.
It says it's not available.
Really?
I'm actually available in this country.
Okay. A few people are getting it. Okay, I'm going to put these up at the end as well. If you do claim the money, yell out loud to motivate the others to participate in this competition. Okay, so it's got number 3 over here. I feel like, are you moderating? Are you the MC?
I can give my money away to someone else.
Okay.
He is.
Okay, I don't know if he's eligible, but I don't know, maybe you are. I think you get to decide since you're the MC.
I'll give it away to the community.
Perfect. Okay, so at Celo, we've been laser focused on this kind of P2P use case, P2P payments use case for many, many years now. And we've been working with Opera hand in hand, thinking about how are we going to onboard 1 billion people. So Opera now has 9 million people using MiniPay. So it's in emerging markets, it's really starting to take off. But they want to become global Venmo, right? So they want to hit billions of people. And so we've been thinking, how are we going to do this, right? And if you look back at the history of onboarding in crypto, we've had many, many waves now of onboarding. Yes, is that 1 point for you? Okay. It's an easy one, but.
Wait,
Okay. A few people have claimed the money, so I'm good for it. Extra motivation to participate in this game. So we've gone through many, many waves of crypto onboarding. I think the first one, of course, is proof of work, right? Early on, 2 points. Early on, you could simply, buy a GPU, participate in mining first Bitcoin, later Ethereum, and then get some rewards. That pulled in a lot of people into crypto, right? Later on, we got proof of stake. Same thing, but now instead of buying a GPU, you bought some Ethereum, you bought some Celo, you could stake it, and then you could earn some rewards by helping secure the network. Later on, we had DeFi Summer. Argentina in the back is right. I think 1 point for you. We had DeFi Summer. Anybody remember DeFi Summer? That was fun, right? You put your money to work. You brought money, you put it to work, and you got rewarded. That pulled in a lot of people into crypto. And, all of these waves had one thing in common, right? They all required people to bring capital and put it into crypto. Vietnam is right. 2 points for you. Or is it 3 now? 3 points. Okay, you're tied with Mr. MC over here, who may or may not be eligible. People in the back, I know you're at a disadvantage because, light does not travel infinitely fast, and sound also doesn't come back to me infinitely fast. But I think you guys can still, get this if you step it up a notch. But all of these waves required people to bring capital, right? The whole premise was you needed to bring capital. And the reason for that probably was that capital was a really good Sybil resistance mechanism. Greenland is not right.
Denmark?
Denmark is. And so that was really important, right? Bitcoin didn't want to pay people if they weren't providing a service. So they wanted a system that wasn't gameable. By definition, proof of work was actually invented to solve the Sybil resistance problem. Same for proof of stake. And then likewise, DeFi Summer also had this really nice property. And the reason was it didn't matter if you split up your account into multiple smaller accounts. If you only had a fixed amount of capital to begin with, if you divided it all up, you wouldn't get any additional rewards. And so capital has this really amazing Sybil resistance mechanism. But if we want to onboard, UK is right. I think over here, 2 points, 1 point. And, if you want to onboard the next wave of people, we need to start looking beyond people who are going to bring, who have disposable income that they want to put to risk in crypto, right? We want to bring people who can benefit from crypto, but who may not have the capital to come and earn these rewards. And so we want to reward them because we have to incentivize them in a way that doesn't require them to bring capital to solve Sybil resistance. So we have to solve the Sybil problem without capital. And so that's one thing that Self Protocol is really focused on. It does actually a little bit more than this, but at its core, it's a new identity protocol that helps you solve Sybil resistance in a production-ready, scalable, reliable way without requiring people to bring capital. And the way it works is it leverages what I like to call is the most trusted, Ukraine is right. How many points? 4. I think we have a leader over here. It leverages what I like to call is the most trusted meet space attestation of who you are, right? And that's either your biometric passport, or if your country issues biometric ID cards, like most EU countries, then your biometric ID card as well. These are pretty amazing because they're difficult to obtain. They're unique to individuals, and they are stored typically securely, right? Because you need them to travel, you're likely going to keep them somewhere safe. And the most important thing is that they're machine readable. So they all have now these NFC chips in them, and you can take the NFC chip, tap it on your phone, and you can read the contents of these cards without any special hardware. And what's even better is the data inside. What was that? There's a new name for Czech Republic. Czechia is right. What's really amazing about these types of IDs is they have contents in these chips. So all of your biometric data that you see on the front page of your ID, all of that is stored electronically, but even better than that, it is actually signed cryptographically with a certificate authority chain, multiple signatures leading up to this country-wide certificate authority. So if you have the public keys of every country in the world, it's not that many public keys, you can verify the authenticity of any one of these passports or any one of these biometric IDs. That's really amazing. They did that, of course, to make it hard for you to forge these documents so that when you enter a country, if you ever see people putting down your IDs on this flat scanner and you wonder why is it taking so long, it's because it's reading the data in the NFC chip, and that can take a little bit of time. And they're verifying that you didn't forge that passport. And so what's really cool is now in a world of blockchains, we can actually verify the authenticity of these IDs without a counterparty, right? Who likes giving their passport data to a third party so that they can be hacked and your data can be leaked everywhere? Who likes that? One person likes it, right? Who instead would like KYC to be verified in a way where you can have a smart contract do the verification that your passport data is authentic, right? Who likes that much better, right? It's better, except it's a trick question, because if we were to do that, we'd be revealing your data to everyone on chain. So let's not do that. Instead, what we do is we verify the certificate authority chain in zero knowledge. So we can, again, do it without a counterparty, but also do it privately. And so that's what Self does. And once you've done that, once you've proven... What was that? Sweden is right. Once you have done that, then you can actually start disclosing additional information about yourselves, all in zero knowledge. So you can prove that you're from some country. So this solves the Sybil resistance problem. You can prove that you're from a specific country if you're comfortable revealing that. You can prove that you're not from a set of countries without revealing which country you are from. You can also prove that you're over a certain age or under a certain age without revealing your actual date of birth. And you can also prove that you are not on the OFAC list without revealing your name, your passport number, or your citizenship. So lots of really cool things that you can do with Self once users have onboarded. So you might be wondering, Canada's right. How many points do you have? 3. You still have 4? Okay, you're getting close. Looks like the speed of sound is not limiting you anymore. I like it. So you might be wondering, okay, so what does this experience look like? Here, let me step to the side so you guys can see. This is what the onboarding flow looks like. I'm going to do an EU ID here, but you can also use a passport. First, you have to scan the back side of your ID. That's required so that you can actually decrypt what's on the NFC chip. We scan the NFC chip. Much easier to scan on your ID than on your passport. And then we're done. We can start generating the ZK proof. And so we're generating a bunch of ZK proofs to effectively register you on chain. And you are now done. You are registered. You can start using Self to disclose information about yourself to third-party dApps. It's just that easy. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So how does, what's going on under the hood? Who was first? Okay, Croatia, which means I think he's tied for 4 points. I don't know if you're just letting him catch up or if you're just really into the content and you stop focusing on the game, but I think you might want to pick it up a notch because I don't know, it's yours. You're about to lose it from this guy. How many slides are left? There's enough. There's enough for anyone here to still win. So sharpen up your geography skills, everyone. Okay, so what's going on in the hood? So obviously we have to create that ZKP that proves the whole certificate authority chain is valid. And the way we do this is we have a Merkle root of all of the public keys of all of the different country certificates on chain. And we're creating a proof that all of those signatures in that chain is valid. And then we do a Merkle inclusion proof of that final public key. Then we need to derive a nullifiers from your passport data. And we do this so that you can only register once. You can't solve Sybil resistance if you can keep registering multiple times with the same ID. And so we have this nullifier for that. And then finally, users are required to create a user-generated secret, which is then used by the passport. It's then used with the passport data to generate a commitment in a Merkle tree that we maintain. Chile is right. That was you? Okay, in the lead again. And so we use this Merkle tree to effectively let you register on chain so that in the future, rather than having to verify or prove once again that you have a valid passport, you can instead just prove that you know a secret that leads to a commitment that happens to be in this tree. So these subsequent proofs are much cheaper to generate because we use Poseidon hashes instead of these more complicated hash functions that these issuing countries use for their IDs. And critically, this allows you to create multiple disclosure proofs in the future that are not linkable to each other, which we wouldn't be able to do if we didn't have this tree. And so once we generate these proofs and these IDs, we verify the proof on chain, we verify that the nullifier hasn't been used before, and again, we add that commitment to this Merkle tree. And so once we've done that, Switzerland is right, neck and neck, 5-5. Once we've done that, we can start disclosing things. And the way this works is dApps can generate a QR code, which the app can sign. That encodes what the dApp is requesting. In this case, it was requesting that someone's age was over 18 and that they were not on the OFAC list. And then if the user feels comfortable revealing that, they can press prove and they can generate a new ZK proof that can be either verified off-chain or even on-chain so that it can be composed with some smart contract logic. And if the dApp were to ask for very sensitive information, then the wallet would warn you. In this case, this isn't really sensitive, but I threw in that screen just to show you guys how your data is protected. So if someone were to ask for your full name, your birthday, and everything, we would have been like, hey, are you sure you want to disclose this to this dApp? So pretty slick. And so what's going on over here? Brazil is right. Who was first? Ooh, 6-5. Or maybe 7-6. Either way, I think you're 1 point ahead. And so once we get here, we verify the actual ZKP that's proving the statement that you want to disclose. And then we are also doing a Merkle inclusion proof that proves that you know that secret that leads you to a commitment that is in that on-chain registration tree. And then optionally, each dApp, as we call it, can also have its own nullifier, so users can only perform this step once. So if you're using this, for example, to do a Sybil-resistant airdrop, then you would want everyone to only be able to do their airdrop once, and so you can have a per application nullifier or per action nullifier. And critically, if you look at how this nullifier is derived, it's not derived from your passport data, and that's really important because that's what guarantees that unlinkability between these different proofs. And so you can, for example, go and prove your age to some dating website. You can then go and degen yourself some airdrops, and no one will be able to link those two actions to each other. And that's really, really important for your privacy. And critically, even your issuing country won't be able to see what actions you're performing. They'll be able to see that you registered, but they won't be able to see what you're actually doing once you've registered. And that's really important. Okay, so how does all of this work? Mexico is right. 2 points in the lead. I don't know. I think it's still yours for the taking. I guarantee you there are more than 2 countries left, but you gotta act quick. Okay, so how does all of this work? We've got the passport, of course, the mobile application that I just showed you scans using the NFC reader. We've got that secret that I mentioned that's important for maintaining your privacy. If you were to lose that secret, that would kind of suck. So we automatically back it up for you in the cloud using your key store, iCloud backup, or your Google Drive per application kind of storage area, which is pretty secure. There was a question earlier about client-side proving. You know, we worked really hard to do this client-side initially. And sadly, there are a fair amount of countries out there that use fairly expensive hashing functions and fairly expensive signature schemes that are ultimately too expensive to prove on your phone. And so we accelerate these proofs using a TEE. But everything is open source, so you can go and verify that the mobile application only connects to that TEE if it verifies the attestation that it's running a unmodified image, and then you can look at what code gets compiled into those images, and you'll see that your sensitive data gets deleted as soon as these proofs are created. And so you can have a lot of trust in this whole system that nobody, including us, can see your sensitive ID information. And so once these proofs are generated in these TEEs, they can again be either sent on-chain or they can be sent through an SDK to the application that was requesting them. In the on-chain case, we maintain the registry on Celo, and right now these proofs can be verified only on Celo, but we're working hard to get the state root of this registry tree propagated out to all Ethereum chains. Celo has become an L2 recently, and so you can actually do this trustlessly yourself, but we're working on making it easier for everyone because we want Self to be a utility for all of Ethereum. And critically, because we don't have a Sybil problem, which is pretty neat, we can pay for your gas when we verify these proofs on-chain. And we're happy to do that because we know you can't scam us because you likely only have a small amount of IDs. So this is the high-level architecture. We have a really nice SDK as well. Oh, is it here twice? Okay. It is Argentina. But you're right. We won't give you the point because it was here before.
Already gave my point, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, great, but I'm already off the
Well, we could still subtract one, and that way it'll be a tie, which makes this whole thing a lot more exciting.
It's a single stat, so it wouldn't be a tie.
I like the call out that it's a Sybil attack. Anyway, we have a really nice SDK. And so if you have a use case, maybe you are doing an airdrop and you have issues with Sybil attacks. Maybe you want to incentivize people to join your protocol and you don't care if they bring capital or not. You just want them to use your protocol. Maybe you have bad actors and you want to filter out people who are on the OFAC list. Or who would have thought that nowadays you have to worry about whether or not you're speaking to a human or an AI agent? How many of you are wondering how much of Twitter now is actually written by humans? Every time I log in, I'm like, I don't know anymore. Would be nice, right? If people could prove that they in fact are a human. And ironically, I predict that it won't be just us worrying and thinking about this problem. AI agents soon will also want to know if they're speaking to AI agents or humans. And so they too will be interested in these proofs. And then finally, maybe you have some kind of silly, fun use case. Maybe you have a meme coin and you want to reward like all the Barteks in the world with some coins. You could do that, right? You could create an app that requests that people disclose if their first name is Bartek. And if so, they can get an airdrop for free. If not, then they would have to go to Bartek and try to buy his meme coin. Anything you can think of. anything that exists on your passport front page, your hair color, your height, your city of birth, you can effectively request as zero-knowledge proofs, and then you could build applications, perhaps fun applications around this. All of this, you can learn more at docs.self.xyz. And you would be in good company building on top of Self, because just yesterday, Aave launched, what was it? Not Ireland. Not Greenland either. Not Greece.
Albania?
Not Albania. Okay, I'll give you guys a moment to think about it. But just yesterday, super, super exciting news. Aave, that is right. How many points for you over there? 3. Okay, well, there's still some more slides. So Aave now has started doing boosted rewards for real humans. So you may have seen World doing this with Morpho. Now this is available with Self and Aave for select pools. And so you can actually prove that you're a human and then earn additional rewards for your deposits into Aave. So something pretty cool. This was just announced and is now live as of yesterday. And then a few weeks ago, anybody saw this announcement? That is right. I thought this would be the hardest one, but apparently this was the hardest one. So Google Cloud announced something really, really cool. So they announced they're using Self for 3 new products, one of which is really exciting. It's a mainnet faucet. Who would have thought you could have a faucet that gives you mainnet tokens? Google thinks so. And of course, you would have a big Sybil problem there, and you have a big OFAC problem there. And so that's one reason why they're excited to use Self for this upcoming really cool new mainnet faucet. So keep an eye out for that. I think that's all the time I have. Thank you so much. And
thank you so much for such an exciting talk. I did keep score. I'm more than happy to read it out before we go for questions, or you'd rather do it afterwards?
No, read it out, yeah.
Okay, so some guy at the back with 1 point, some guy in the front with 1 point, some dude in the middle, I think that guy in a cool t-shirt, 3 points, the Filecoin guy, some dude with 5 points, and then that cool dude at the back that knows everything, 8 points. So congratulations, sir.
Congratulations. Come find me afterwards. I'll send you the cash link. And then these are the QR codes from earlier. Maybe they haven't been fully claimed, so I thought I'd put them up here.
Does anyone have any questions? Oh, lots of questions.
Do you use the semaphore library for the stuff, or do you write something yourself?
We do not, but it's very similar to semaphore in the way that we do the commitment tree, yes.
Okay, and then which ZK proving system do you use to prove this?
Grot 16. So we kept it very vanilla because we wanted to get into production as early as possible. This launched at ETH Denver earlier this year, and it's fully audited by ZK Security. And so you can have a lot of confidence that both the proving system is pretty robust or very robust, and the code that's running on top of it.
What about the trusted setup?
So we did a public trusted setup on Potion. Anyone could participate. All the information's on Potion.
I have a question. How is it better than WorldCoin?
Good question. I think WorldCoin is very interesting, and I'm a fan of what they're doing. The challenge with WorldCoin is getting people in front of those orbs. Is a scaling, challenge, right? It's a lot of people in the world, and there's a lot of orbs. This allows us to piggyback on something that people already have in their pocket, and arguably is more decentralized, right? Because rather than trusting one company with their orbs to provide these attestations, we're instead relying on nation states. There's many nation states that all have their own keys. If one of these keys is compromised, then dApps can just choose to not allow people from that country to generate these proofs. And so in a way, it's a lot more decentralized in that regard as well. So I think it's quicker to scale to billions of people. And arguably, the federated approach is a little nicer.
Yeah, so you mentioned different nation states, and there are nation states that are less trustworthy when it comes to their national documents.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Celo has a lot of experience in like Africa, Latin America, where the corruption is typically like higher than Switzerland, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, like, how do you deal with like passports that have been issued because someone paid some amount of money, or you just ignore it because it's still better than what we have today?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe a bigger problem might be that there are people who have citizenship from multiple countries, right? And suddenly they might have multiple passports. Likewise, if you have a biometric ID and a passport, maybe you could register twice. And initially we thought, okay, this seems like a problem. Maybe we'd want to solve it. But the more we looked at it, the more we realized, well, one, it's significantly better than what exists today. For a lot of use cases, it's probably fine if someone claims an airdrop twice, as long as they can't do it 10 times. And then secondly, Vitalik had this really nice post where he talked about how he wants these systems to allow you to register more than once, as long as it's not too many times. And that is because he wants people to be able to have pseudonymous accounts still. So, if Bartek has another pseudonymous, account of some kind that he tweets from, and he wants to use that to claim an airdrop, then he could, if, for example, he registered twice with his, ID card and his passport. And so as long as it's hard for people to register 10 times, then we think that this actually provides a really nice service.
We have time for one more question.
Yes, you mentioned the OFAC list probably a dozen times. How does the attestation actually work? Like who and what do I disclose to so that at the end I end up with a trust that no, I'm not on the list?
So to prove that you're not on the OFAC list, we maintain a root of Merkle tree where we put the whole OFAC list into. The OFAC list actually is composed of different ways to identify people. So we actually maintain 3 Merkle lists, some based on your names and date of birth, some based on your citizenship and passport numbers. And ultimately what we're doing is a ZK exclusion proof that you're not in any 3 of these OFAC lists. And so again, the root exists on chain. You do a Merkle exclusion proof, and then you can prove, you can then verify that proof against this root on chain. And once you do that, then again, you can compose with smart contracts, say that you want to deposit money into a DEX or a lending pool, and you want that pool to not allow, OFAC sanctioned individuals from participating. Then you could then verify this proof as part of the deposit logic.
Basically, you keep an OFAC state on chain.
The root of the state, yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the amazing questions. If you do have any more other questions, you can meet Marek at the other side of the stage. And let's have one more huge round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you.